What is up, you guys? Okay, so I'm doing a video today on my mental health crisis because for several years, went through a period of suicidal thoughts, and all of that was based upon childhood trauma. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the childhood trauma. I'm sorry, this is really hard for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about the childhood trauma that I went through, and then I'm going to talk a little bit after that about um, ways that maybe if you're going through trauma or something like that, or maybe if you're going through a period of suicidal thoughts or depression, severe depression, mild depression, whatever the case may be, um, give you some tips and pointers on how to maybe overcome those feelings and those thoughts. So from the time I was a little kid, um, I suffered a great deal of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Right. Um, Starting from my recollection, from what I can remember, the first time I can remember is whenever I was 6 years old. Um, I'm not gonna get into details of what happened, but we were in the truck, me, my uncle, and my father, and my brother and sister, and everybody went inside. My uncle was pumping gas. I was in the truck eating hot Cheetos because, of course, I love hot Cheetos, and my uncle proceeded to touch me inappropriately. And my father, he came back into the truck, and of course, I was scared to say anything. And so, whenever I got back home to my mom's house, because that's where we were headed, I ended up telling her, what had happened. I was like, okay, mom, this happened, and I was extremely afraid to do so, but I did it anyway because I was like, I don't know, I told her, um, and she immediately, hopped on it. She was like, okay, we need to get on the phone. She got on the phone with my aunt, which is my uncle's husband, and, so on and so forth. She called my dad, and then my dad got on the phone with me, and he told me, he said, I told him what happened. He asked me what happened. I told him what happened, and he said, well, that's, they were just playing, and he was just playing. It's normal, and so then, of course, I believe that, right? Because my dad told me that, these things are normal. So, um, I didn't think anything of it. My mom asked me after that. She was like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to, like press charges against them or whatever? And, I didn't know what that meant at the time. So she had someone explain it to me, a lawyer. And, I told her no because, I'm only 6 years old, right? And, of course, I mean, my dad told me it was normal. So I was like, okay, well, it's nothing to worry about. And in my 6-year old mind. And so from that point on, um, it just got worse. It was not only that uncle, but then it was another one and another one and another one and another one, 5 in total. Um, and it was just constant, constant, constant sexual abuse from the time I was 6 years old to the time I was about 12. And as a result of that, I became very promiscuous, right? I developed these insatiable, if you will, sexual desires, right? That caused me physical harm, as a result of the trauma that I went through at a young age. In addition to that, I also suffered a lot of physical abuse from my father, my mother as well, because she suffered a lot of abuse and trauma. Both of them did. They suffered a lot of abuse and trauma as children, and so they didn't. I guess they probably didn't know what they were doing as parents, clearly, and so they were just doing what they thought was normal. I'm assuming. Um, However, that doesn't excuse the behavior, right? Because I mean, it really messed me up, mentally. And so, for several years, after all of this, after all of this trauma and physical abuse and emotional abuse, I mean, and it was bad, right? Like it was to the point where like my teachers would call CPS and things like that. And I would have to go to school and lie. I would go to school with black eyes, and they'd be like, "What happened?" And I'd say, "Oh, I fell," or something like that. It was bad. From the time I was a young age, my dad, he would call me like, the F word, and you know, things like that. I'm not gonna get into all the other things he said. He said a lot. Overcoming that was not easy, and it's still not easy. Like, I'm sure you can tell just by me talking in this video. Like, it's bringing up feelings that of like anger. I'm just getting angry thinking about it all over again, because it's just like, wow. One of the reasons I moved to New York and then now LA, is because of the fact that everywhere I went, right, or everywhere that I went or go in Texas, that I know, has trauma attached to it. You know what I'm saying? There's some sort of trauma, and how I have moved on. Oh my God, how I have moved on from that is I've determined what my triggers are, right? So I've said, like, okay, this certain smell, makes me think of that, or this certain, if I look at this, or if I watch that, or if I hear this specific sound or this song, you know what I'm saying? That triggers me, right? It sends me back into, these dark, depressive thoughts. So my advice to you would be, if you're going through something similar to this, or if you have been through something similar to this, and you're trying to figure out how to overcome, depression or suicidal thoughts or anxiety or PTSD, because PTSD is a big thing. My advice to you would be to determine what your triggers are, determine the things that, sends you into those thoughts, and, cut that stuff out of your life, right? That stuff is not good, for your mental health, especially if, like me, you developed as a result of sexual assault, sexual abuse at a young age, promiscuous or insatiable desires that could harm you, physically. And in addition to that, especially if you've suffered sexual abuse, because one thing I've noticed about myself is that I developed a sense of codependency, right? So, like, you know, I'll meet someone, and I'll have a desire to have this person in my life, or I'll have a desire, or an idea of who this person is or should be to me, right? And whenever I find out that that person is not, you know, what I want them to be, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be careful with those kinds of things, because if you develop an attachment to the wrong person, right, and you develop, you know, a sense of trust with this person, and they're really not worthy of your trust, and you decide, hey, I'm going to trust this person or entrust this person with my thoughts, right? With that side of me, because I feel like I can. What tends to happen is those people will take advantage of those thoughts, or maybe their intentions are bad for you in the first place, and they will use those thoughts against you, or they will act upon them. And in some cases, especially if your desires sexually are harmful, or can be harmful towards you, that's not good, because you could really get messed up physically, or even lose your life in some cases. And so one of the things I found helpful for me, in terms of that, and mental health, becoming independent, emotionally, right? Physical health, overcoming depression and suicidal thoughts, dealing with those insatiable sexual desires, is just kind of talking about it, right? For me, I don't necessarily talk about it much. I'm just saying that as like a hey, maybe you should talk about it. But For me, it's more like meditation. Sometimes I do yoga. Um, I'm kind of into witchcraft, so I do like, incantations and things like that. Um, nothing against anybody else, who's a different religion. If you pray, to whatever God or entity, that's it's awesome. But whatever helps you, determine the things that make you happy and the things that help you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that you should be fine. For me, whenever I was young, as a result of my sexual assault, and sexual abuse, even the physical abuse, and this is actually very common, for people to do. Um, I developed an an alternate personality, right? Who's a girl. Her name is Jasmine, and she, in a sense, took the pain, right? So like she, during my sexual assaults and sexual abuse, I would feel like I like I wasn't in my body, right? And I would imagine, and this is hard for me to talk about, I would imagine like I was somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm in, France right now. You know what I'm saying? Or, I'm on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Anything, somewhere beautiful, somewhere nice. You know what I'm saying? And what happened is, when that alternate personality was developed, it's like a mind trick that your brain plays on itself, right? So like, the memories are blocked, some of them, you know what I'm saying? um and they come back, they do, in dreams they come back. Whenever I, like I said, my triggers, if I smell a certain thing, or if I see a certain thing, or if I hear a certain thing, you know what I'm saying? It you know it brings up memories, right? And the PTSD and the anxiety starts coming up, and it's really bad. But I've learned, over the course of 24 years of my life, to kind of deal with it in a positive way here recently. I'm just now coming out of the severe depression and the suicidal thoughts and things like that. It was really hard, because on top of all the sexual abuse, you get, your parents telling you, you're never going to be anything, you're never going to do anything in life, stuff like that. And it's just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's almost like you have like a lack of love, you know what I'm saying? Or you feel like you have a lack of love. And then whenever there are people who show you genuine love, or who you know try to show you, genuine kindness, you don't know how to deal with it, and you almost reject it. And in some cases you do reject it, because you're not used to it, and you don't know what that feels like. You don't know what someone actually caring about you, or someone actually loving you, or someone actually just showing you genuine pure kindness, feels like, or what that even looks like. And so you think that, man, maybe they have a motive, you know what I'm saying, or a bad intention. And so it's like, there's a lot. And I know I'm kind of all over the place. I had it all organized, but this video is really hard for me. But I know it'll help someone, so I want to go ahead and put it out there anyway. um and I'm also going to leave some links in the description box below. And also, I will be doing another video tomorrow as well, discussing a little more. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video right here. Not only because this video is hard for me, but because it's kind of unorganized, and it didn't go how I wanted it to go. It just didn't. But I hope you guys have a great day. And again, I will be leaving some links in the description box below to some mental health resources, in hopes that you guys can use those. I hope that this video, if you can identify with some of the things that I've gone through, I hope that this video really helped you determine, hey, this is maybe these are the steps I need to take, or maybe this is what I need to do to kind of to kind of help me move forward, or to kind of pull myself out of that place, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to pull yourself out. No one can pull you out of that mindset or out of that state of mind. You have to pull yourself out, and it's not easy. It's very, very hard. So I'm gonna be doing more videos like this. I'm doing a 3-part series. So tomorrow I'm gonna be talking about a little different stuff. Today was more like my story and what what happened to me at a young age. Of course, I'll go deeper into that tomorrow. I'm gonna take some time to kind of collect my thoughts, because this video is really hard, and it did bring up a lot of stuff that I've kept inside for a long time. And so I think in a way that this video is also going to help me heal, and it's something that I can definitely look back on whenever I'm feeling down and stuff as well. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. If you're going through something, talk about it, meditate, pray, whatever you decide, whatever you do, and yeah, have a great day, guys. Love y'all.